through.
Hi, I'm Mr. Magic, and welcome to Backstage. In the world of music, you've got a genre of instruments that get played. This gentleman actually has a kitchen full of instruments, mainly percussions. He is the legendary Mr. Keith Caisey. Welcome to the show, sir.
Pleasure to be
here.
here.
I mean, you've traveled the world, literally.
Yeah.
I mean, we joke, as we've known each other for a while, and I've always said to you, you spend more time away from Bermuda than being here.
In my field, you represent a whole lot of different cultures, broad-based cultures. And if you're going to play African drums, people expect you to play the African drum like Africa.
Yeah.
Trust me. And having said this, because I think it's very important for young people, if you're going to take up this craft as a percussionist, you have to apply yourself, but you have to have the passion, and you have to feed this passion. The way you feed the passion, you have to travel the world.
And that's it.
You have to travel the world. And tours, America has bases all over Europe.
Right.
So they were bringing in American entertainers, Temptations.
For the troops.
For the troops.
Yeah.
So I managed to get into that circuit. And I did London Palladium with Gladys Knight and the Pips, and then we went and we did the bases. I came back from that tour. Frida Payne arrived in town. It's funny, I got off the plane, and he just said to me, Frida Payne's going to Germany, da-da-da. Would you like to go with us? I went with Frida, and we did American Bases again. Then Arthur Conley, Funky Broadway.
Yes.
So we toured all over Spain with Arthur Conley. Algeria, also went to North Africa, Bahrain. Second time with Arthur, we did Madrid, Barcelona, Ibiza, and Palma de Mallorca. And we went down and played at Barbarella's and this big discotheque that they had there. So I've been to Fiji, I went to Honiara, I played with a group called Jabutu, and then we went to the Gilbert Islands. We went down to Nauru. President Bernard Dorrego invited me down to play at the 25th anniversary of their independence.
Oh, okay.
So we went to Nauru, we played there. It's amazing how hot it was down there, and that's an island where they mine phosphate. And all the islanders actually own rights to the mines.
Oh, right, okay. So they make
a lot of millionaires, in Nauru.
Yeah. Wow. Sir, I've said it in the beginning of this, I'll say it again. We can sit and talk with you longer. Okay. It's only a half-hour show, and we truly appreciate the knowledge and what you've told us about your travels. I mean, without even having to tell anybody, what I get from this is if you practice enough and you master the craft that you're doing, people will notice you, and you'll get invited by presidents and dignitaries and others and entertainers to come and be part of what they're doing because you represent what they want.
Everything that could possibly happen happened in Australia. I was living in Paris in '77. 76, and I went to Australia. I went with a gentleman by the name of Nabil Jaha. In Europe, he's known as Little Sammy. He had quite a few #1 hits over in France. And upon arriving in Australia, I realized there were no percussionists. None. There weren't any black bands that I could look out and see. So Taboo was formed. Matakwali Music was formed. Doug Williams and the Black Mass or Power, they were formed. Marsha Hines was one of the few female black artists that you saw. I played with a group called Ayers Rock. They had recently recorded in America, in A&M Studios. And I toured with them for about 7 years. And Ayers Rock was considered the jazz rock fusion band of Australasia, and worked with them for 7 years. So I got a lot of exposure, lots of exposure, and played all the big concerts. And it moved from that progression. I felt the need to come back over and get back into the roots feel, like the reggae and all the stuff. So I started playing with an Aboriginal band called No Fixed Address, and the other one was called Warumpi Band. So there and then began my sort of relationship with the Aboriginal people, very strong relationship, and going in and out of Glebe Island Cultural Center, doing cultural exchanges. But working with the guys from Warumpi Band, No Fixed Address, and then I went to Matakwali Music, which was South Pacific reggae jazz rock, really nice. And this band went on to do a lot of great things.
tweaked, the band got stronger because, as I said before, the band toured a lot. So we were working musicians. We were working every night. We got stronger and stronger. So we had just come off like a tour like the Olympics and straight into Star Search. I mean, we were groomed. We were ready to play. And that attitude took us to the championship.
I moved from Sydney to Queensland, which opened up a whole different ball game because I had endorsements with a company called Mino Percussion, and then Latin Percussion came along and they took me on with a lifetime endorsement. So I was doing facilitation,
Right.
demonstrations at all the big festivals, Wilmette Festival, Woodford Festival, all these festivals.
Okay.
And then I was playing with 5 different bands. So we got to do the sun splashes and things like a band called Mahana or Maori. Everyone was from New Zealand, Maori Brothers. I played with Casablanca. I was working with a group called African Savannah and working with another group called Exodus. So I was working with these 5 bands, so I'm working all the time. Another band called TK. While all this was going on, I was probably, you could say, teaching days.
Yes.
Teaching days.
Playing nights.
Playing nights, but I'll finish the gigs, the nighttime gigs, and go into the recording studio.
Okay.
So
Australia was good for you.
Australia was more than good because I got to perform at the 2000 Olympics opening ceremonies.
Oh.
That was a nice crowning to everything that I had done in that country. I recorded on over 200 CDs, Australian artists, in excess, and people like Sherbet, lots of albums. But having done all that, I did most of the major TV stations. They would like things like Simon Townsend, Wonder World, 028 lineup, which was an ethnic station, like VSB type of thing. And it just kept going around in a circle like this. The culture of Cuba. I would have to say Cuba produces the best musicians in the world.
Okay.
I have to say that. I was taken to a house and I met a lot of Cuban guys that played. And these guys were assessors. They were going to assess me. And it was very strange because I carried a Pandero from Brazil with me and a bag of documentaries. The guy asked me, he said, did I study at School of Tataquinas? I said, no, I never met Tataquinas. He scratched his head, he said, do you live in Cuba? I said, I don't live in Cuba, I came from Bermuda. How many times have you been to Cuba? I've never been to Cuba. So make that story short. So they went outside, they said, well, Che Guevara, gave me a Che Guevara, I played the Che Guevara, gave me a cowbell, I played the cowbell, and played some timbales. So the guy said, look, what do you want to learn? I said, well, I came down here to be assessed by you guys. And, you know, he said, well, hey, anything in Cuba you really want to learn? I said, bata. And bata, it's a double-headed drum that came from West Africa.
Okay.
So that's why I went to Matanza to study bata. And I learned a lot from Cristobal and Alonso about bata. And the E, I was the lead drum, the big drum, and I never really got there. Then one day he said, let's play Yongo bata. I lit up Yongo Batal, so I picked up the ear and I started playing Yongo Batal on the ear, and they broke out in Spanish. And I said, what happened, man? He said, did he teach you that? I said, no. I thought, well, I've really put my foot in this, right? Overstepped the mark. And they said, well, how do you know it? I said, well, I reached down and I pulled out my CDs. And I did a series of documentaries on drumming, how to play drums and various instruments from around the world. And as I pulled it out, the minister for the culture came in, who bought the band of Bermuda. And they were there talking away, and I'm checking this out, and I said, well, it's on my CD as well as on the DVDs. I said, you have a DVD player. So as soon as I put it on, Rhythm Nation came up first. The man jumped up and he said, si la hombre aquí, si la casa de rumba de Bermuda, si la hombre aquí. They telling him that I'm the guy that he was telling them about in Bermuda. They had the house of drums.
Oh.
So the translator was saying to me, you got your certificate, right? I said, he said, they're gonna give you your professorship. This man knows you. From the video, he said, this is the guy. The thing was, it was the broadness of the cultural bank.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I was leaving, they said, we want to invite you back because you bring other cultures with you. And, because I remember when I was studying tabla with a master in India, I carried that into the Congo Plain, right?
So it's like a fusion.
It's a fusion.
Yeah.
And even Giovanni Hidalgo said to me one time, he says, when I see you play, because we talk about styles, and I always say, Giovanni, you are like the greatest conguero ever. And he said, yeah, boy, what you play? He says, Brasilia. You play Brazilian. He said, you be playing like a basic tumbao. You're like, he says, and all of a sudden, you bring in the Brazil thing. And I say, he says, yeah, you just float out it. Very natural. It's a natural thing because you can do that. Yeah. You feel that. And you just do and straight back to like the Latin thing as well.
Celina, tem que ficar sentado. Não tem problema, senta aqui, porque você está na frente dos outros.